This summer, Instacart presents famous summer flavors coming to your front door. Or pool. Or hotel.
Your grocery delivery has arrived, sir.
That was faster than room service.
No violins in the lobby.
Oh, seriously? Anyway, sit back, relax, and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Starring your favorite snacks, drinks, and more. Download Instacart for free delivery on your first 3 orders. Rated H for hungry audiences. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum $10 per order. Excludes restaurants. Additional terms and fees apply.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to This Song Is Yours, a music podcast where we chat to a new guest each week, talk about their life and creative endeavours and talk to them about some of the music they love. Our show works by chatting to our guests about music, their songwriting techniques, and occasionally getting them to make you a playlist of the songs they love. Welcome to episode 210. I'm your host, Simon Fink. Our guest today is Maisie Peters. The British pop star and songwriter is making her way down to Australia next year for a run of shows in February and March. In today's episode, we're speaking with Maisie about what she's learned touring with Ed Sheeran, songwriting for a new record, and what she's looking forward to most when she's down here in Australia. Here we go. Our guest today is one of the most exciting new talents of the last few years. She's a singer and songwriter who last year released her brilliant debut record, You Signed Up For This. Since then, she's been touring the world, playing shows with Ed Sheeran and amassing fans all over the globe. Next February and March, she's bringing those shows down here to Australian crowds. Please welcome back to This Song Is Yours, Maisie Peters. Hello, how are we?
I am very, very well. I hope you're good too.
I'm doing well, thank you. Now, Maisie, I believe you're joining us from, if I've done my research correctly, I think that you're in San Fran at the moment.
I am in San Francisco. Good research.
Thank you. Now, you are, I believe, at the tail end of another North American tour for yourself. How have those shows been going?
They've been amazing. They've been a real turning point, I think. Those have been like the craziest shows ever, and the fans and the audiences and the venues, everything about it has just felt like a whole new level. So it's been amazing.
I was going to say, on social media and I guess from a distance here in Australia, it does appear that, yes, since we last spoke, that those venues have gotten bigger, that those crowds are getting a lot larger and a lot more. I think we've seen people camping out all over the world to line up for Maisie Peters gigs. Are you surprised at the reaction that's, I guess, the growth?
I am. Yeah. I mean, it feels very surreal, and it doesn't feel like they're actually like here to see me or like they actually listen to music. Like I still am truly baffled that like people are actually listening. So yeah, like that's never not crazy.
I can very much appreciate that. Now, since we last spoke, and I will get into why we're speaking now, we are discussing your Australian tour. You are coming down to see us. Before we get into the nitty-gritty details of that, I did want to touch on this for a second for those who can't see at home, because this is a podcast. I am holding up the Maisie Peters debut record. Just for those who can't see what we're doing. I guess it's been a year since then, and this is what you're touring in support of. Firstly, congratulations on 1 year, because I know that this album has resonated with a lot of people, but how are you feeling a year on from these songs coming out?
I mean, yeah, a lot has happened in a year, almost an indescribable amount of things and change. And I think if you were to tell me a year ago that this would be where I would be now, I would not believe you. And I'm so grateful for that album, because I think it's brought me to so many places and further than I could have ever dreamed of, really. And I'm so pleased. I'm so thrilled, because I love that album so much. And I knew when I was making it how much I loved it and how much I believed in it, and how important it felt to me. And I always thought it could do that for the people, and it's been amazing and rewarding and really magical to see that it has done that for people, and it is special to the rest of the world too.
I would agree with that. We've had a number of guests on this very podcast who have talked about the power of your music, or the effect that this music has had on them.
That's so cool.
It's one who have we got? One artist. She's the label mate of one Greta Ray, who we might touch on a little bit later. But Charlie, very big fan of yours. I know that there's a number of
Charlie,
artists.
yes.
I'm glad to see that there is a mutual admiration between the two. So that's lovely to hear.
Definitely is. She's amazing.
She is amazing. Yes. Now, as we mentioned, you're coming down to visit us in Australia next year, and these shows, Maisie, I feel they got announced and then they were sold out, and then the venues were upgraded and now they're still sold out. Firstly, how are you feeling about this? Because I feel that Australia has just fallen in love with Maisie Peters.
Which is the best news ever, because I am in love with Australia. I've never been, but I have a lot of Australian friends, and I just feel like a real affinity towards Australians and towards Australia. And so it's like the best news ever that the love is reciprocated, because I truly think these shows are going to be so special. I think they're going to be some of my favorite ever. And I couldn't believe that the way they sold is truly unbelievable. And I actually just can't wait to play them. God, it's going to be amazing.
You have been playing a lot this year. I guess what can Australian fans expect that might be different from some of those other shows that you've been playing around this year?
I guess I really want to I'll be playing, obviously, because in Australia we're going to be with Ed for some of it, and we're going to be doing our own shows for the other ones. So I want to make sure both those set lists just really play to the strengths of where we are, if we're in a stadium or if we're in like a tiny little venue. I really just want to make sure we bring the house down of wherever we are.
100%. You just mentioned Mr. Ed Sheeran, who I know has been your tour mate this year.
Indeed.
I'm curious how you found those shows, because they're all stadium shows, and so I imagine that you're getting quite a lot of exposure and a lot of experience as well playing these gigs.
Definitely. That's been a huge part of my year, and playing those shows with Ed and going around the UK and Europe and playing in all of those stadiums. It's been very surreal and very wild and very fun. And I think it's done like just insurmountable amounts for my stagecraft and for my confidence, and for even watching Ed every night. I mean, I think I just learned like such a colossal amount and applied it to my own shows. And I think it's like impacted me in ways that I don't even know.
100%. We've spoken to a few bands who have done similar things. They've gone in support. They've toured as a support act for another artist and opened bigger shows, which has then influenced their songwriting as well. So I can appreciate that your stagecraft has grown and evolved. But have you found that the songs that you're writing now almost lend themselves to a bigger space, to a bigger venue, if you will?
I think so, yeah, definitely. I think that time will tell with that, with playing the next album live next year. But I definitely think that they'll have been subconsciously and consciously inspired by those venues and those shows, and knowing that this next album I really will be touring, hopefully around the world. So yeah, I'd like to think so.
This next album is something that I feel has been on a lot of people's lips. I know that there is a very dedicated fan account, Mazzie's Memes. Anyone who is not following Mazzie's
Memes, indeed.
Yep, please make sure you go onto Instagram and follow. I know that, there's a lot of anticipation for another record. We've been gifted with a number of singles this year. Is there any, without getting myself in trouble with any form of label or publicist involved, can we talk about any form of release that might be coming soon?
I mean, yeah, without really too much. I mean, the album is coming next year. I'm really at the tail end of it now. I'm finalizing the track listing. I'm finishing the last couple of songs. I'll be sending everything to mix soon. And I'm really excited for it. I think it's my best body of work yet, and I've put so much of myself into it. I think it's my most honest body of work as well. And I think, it was made to be played in all of these rooms. So it's going to be a crazy experience playing it next year.
I know that there's a lot of people excited to hear these songs live. Some of these newer songs that have come out this year, we've got Good Enough, Cate's Brother, Not Another Rock Star. There's a new, I want to say like a new confidence, or almost like it's almost like a level up. Like if this was a video game that Maisie has eaten the mushroom and gotten to that next level, what I guess was the change between that first record and some of these singles in terms of the songwriting and finding this new Maisie, I guess?
I think that it's just been a lot of personal growth as well, and of really feeling like I know the music that I want to make and feeling confident in what I want to say and how I want to say it. And then with that, just working with new people and listening to new types of music and allowing myself to be inspired in different ways.
100%. Is there any form of collaboration that we could expect on this record, or will it just be solely a Maisie venture?
It took a lifetime to find the person you want to marry. Finding the perfect engagement ring is a lot easier. At BlueNile.com, you can find or design the ring you've always dreamed of with help from Blue Nile's jewelry experts who are on hand 24/7 to answer questions, and the ease and convenience of shopping online. For a limited time, get $50 off your purchase of $500 or more with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com. That's $50 off with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
I mean, I think it'll be in terms of features, it'll be a purely Maisie venture. But I love getting my friends on my records and getting familiar voices or instruments or whatever it is. So there'll definitely be some of that on this album too.
That's very exciting to hear. I would love to discuss, if possible, Maisie, whether you're able to songwrite on the road. As we mentioned, you've spent a lot of time this year touring, going around the world twice over. Are you someone who can kind of sit in a hotel room, write, compose, or is it something that you have to have a certain kind of space to be able to do?
I mean, I like to think that I would write. The actual issue, which is hilarious, is that I never seem to have an instrument on me in my hotel room because you want to fly with the minimum amount of bags, and I definitely don't want to check in a guitar to every flight I go on. I've been on a lot of flights. So actually, hilariously, that problem is more logistical than anything. But I don't necessarily write full songs on the road, but I do jot down a lot of ideas and inspirations. And then I've found with this album, at least, whenever I go home, I'll just be straight into the studio and with all the days I have in between tours. And that was when I was really, making the most of that time and going in and writing as many songs as humanly possible.
100%. I would love to also discuss, I guess, the importance or the power of creative fiction within songwriting, if that makes sense. I know that I think earlier this year when Cate's brother came out, there was a lot of people trying to determine whether Cate's brother was real.
I really did date Cate's brother.
You did?
Well, no, but who knows? Cate's brother, I will say Cate's brother is an entirely real person, and so is Cate, and so was the Halloween party. But the rest of it is up to the interpretation.
This is what I wanted to clarify, or at least discuss with you in terms of, I guess, where you go when songwriting in terms of truth, honesty, but also creative licensing and being able to kind of build worlds without having totally fictional songs, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think there's no rules, and music is a magical like merging of truth and fiction, I think, anyway. So I think that although this next album I do think is my most honest, I also am the biggest believer and the biggest supporter of like whatever was best for the song. And Cate's brother is a great example of that. That was a song I just wrote having so much fun and thinking, I don't know, like, what if I did this? Like, wouldn't that be so funny? Wouldn't this be the silliest idea ever? And then I got Cate's brother out of it, which is one of my favorite songs. So I think that, yeah, whatever feels good, chase whatever feels good.
I can appreciate that sentiment. What was the, very quickly, what was the sentiment from Cate and Cate's brother like? What was their reaction?
Oh, they all loved it. Everybody loved it. And so did Cate's mother, actually. The whole family are big fans.
I look forward to the following album, the third album, where Cate's mother is on the track list for that one. So she
gets her own song. Oh, definitely. Trina 100% should get her own song.
Very excited to hear that song. Maisie, again, you're coming back to visit us. We've mentioned Greta, we've mentioned Charlie. I guess your knowledge of Australian music, what is that like? And I guess, are you excited to see any bands or artists while you're out here?
Absolutely. I would love to see some Australian bands and artists. I mean, I'm the biggest Greta Ray fan in the whole world. So I'm hoping to catch the Greta Ray performance. But I love Charlie. I love Gang of Youths, obviously, who Greta was on tour with recently, and I think they're amazing. I love Amy Shark. Her and I became friends recently over Instagram, and I loved her album. I think it was Love Monster. And her EP, actually, Blood Brothers, I think was previous to that. And I've been her biggest fan for the longest time. So I hope to see her as well.
All very, very solid picks. Has Greta or any of your other Australian friends, I guess, given you any advice on Australia in terms of what to see, what to do, what to eat, possibly what to avoid?
No advice yet, but I will be asking them for it, although I'm wondering if they won't give it to me because they'll want to watch me flop. I'm sure they'll want to laugh at me doing all the things I shouldn't. But I'll ask for some advice at a later date.
Well, hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully they're not wanting to see you fail or flop too hard. I wanted to talk very quickly as well about a cover that has been doing the rounds on social media, I think the last week. I think that it's no secret that yourself, Greta, a number of other artists are quite big Swifties, that Taylor Swift has had quite an influence on all of you in your songwriting. And in the last week, there's been a cover of yourself covering, what is it, Dear John from the Speak
Dear
Now
John,
album.
Indeed.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly, if it's all right, I'd love to ask, what was it that made you pick this song from that album? It's a brilliant album, brilliant track. What made you pick this song specifically? And then, actually, I'll ask the second question once you've answered that first one.
I mean, we were looking for like a cover to do, like something, and I'm a big Swiftie, and I've always loved Dear John, the song. I think it's a masterpiece, and any Swiftie knows that like that's like a true. It's like a deep cut, but it's not. It's actually the opposite of a deep cut. And it means a lot to me. That song has been. I've loved it for a lot of years for a lot of different reasons. And when we were deciding what to sing, and I was like, oh, what if we? It's also in the same time signature as my song Favorite X. And so it sort of made sense going with that song. And yeah, once we tried it out together, it just felt really right. And it's been so healing, so spiritually healing, singing it every night and hearing everyone scream it along.
That was one bit I was a little bit not surprised at, but just the sheer volume of which the crowd was getting into it in all the clips that I've seen.
Oh yeah.
It seems to be resonating with the crowd quite well. This has sparked a bit of a, I think, I don't want to say rumor, but it has sparked some questions in relation to, it's possible that Speak Now, Taylor's version, is the next one, and that there are stories flying around that Maisie Peters might, who knows, make an appearance on that in some way. Is there any validity to these, or are we just following the wrong paper trail?
Listen, if I know, you'll be the first to know too. But I'm in the dark.
No, look, I can appreciate that. Maisie, usually we would ask our guests what they're currently listening to. Is there anything at the moment that's kind of on high rotation for yourself that you're enjoying?
What am I listening to? Let me have a look. I'm listening to, I mean, funny because maybe it's because I was just in Canada, but I've been listening to a lot of Drake. I actually really love the Take Care album. And I love a lot of Drake songs for different reasons. I think it's just like the lyricism is unbelievable. But I've been listening to a lot of Will Be Fine by Drake.
Very solid choice, very solid album. Maisie, once again, thank you so much for your time today. I know that you are on tour, so it's appreciated that you spent a bit of time with us on the pod. We are very excited for you to visit Australia and New Zealand next year, coming to play these shows. And thank you again.
No, thank you for having me.
And that's our show. A massive thank you to Maisie Peters for her time. Her Australian tour begins in February 2023, and we've left links in the show notes if you'd like to buy tickets to her tour. We also want to give a huge shout out to Thomas at Warner Music Australia for helping out with today's interview. If you like this show, please subscribe wherever you get your pods and stay up to date when new episodes are released. We release new shows each Wednesday and Friday morning, and we now have a Patreon, which you can find within the show notes of this episode. You can follow the Players profile on Spotify, and you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Until next week, cheers.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Jen from the I Mom So Hard podcast.
Now listen, we don't want to brag, but yes, we are moms. We're average moms.
Below average sometimes.
But we're not just moms.
Yeah, we don't want you to think that we're just moms. And we're not just supermodels either. We're not just pieces of meat,
That's right. We're not even close.
Yeah.
But we are comedians, and we're also best friends.
We're also best-selling authors.
And television writers.
We created a viral web series.
With over 300 million views.
Okay,
What's
that's
up?
bragging.
Who's bragging?
That is bragging,
And we were in our
actually.
swimsuits. Again, not supermodels.
We're also podcasters.
Are we podcasting right now?
Not right now, but we have been podcasting for 3 years. We're bringing laughs every Tuesday to women and moms everywhere.
And one dude who's a sophomore in college, his name's Greg, whatever, he messaged us and made me feel cool.
So nice. Amazing. Please listen to the I Mom So Hard podcast on Acast.
Woo!
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.